To celebrate that, tonight we're going to start our show with a vision of hope. It involves a large area along the Willamette River in Portland, the place where OMSI now stands. There are big plans for its future development, and that is our big story tonight. The Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, OMSI, is a magical place for both kids and adults. My wife and I spent many dreary winter weekends there with our boys when they were young, and we loved every minute of it as we all played and learned about science. Lots of you have enjoyed it too, but you might not know that OMSI also owns additional property there, including a mile-long stretch along the river. And that property is part of a massive expansion plan for both OMSI and the city of Portland. Here's an aerial look. OMSI sits on the east side of the Willamette between the Markham there on the left and the Tillicum Crossing bridges. The area around it may not look all that impressive right now, but there are 24 acres that will be redeveloped into a number of uses. Earlier this week, Portland City Council approved spending $15 million to get the project going. Before that vote, they heard from many supporters, including the Portland Metro Chamber, formerly the Portland Business Alliance.
This is another big moment for our city, and once again, another demonstration of this council's recognition that the city must be a genuine partner if we are to achieve our vision of a thriving Portland for future generations. As you are well aware, the Chamber views the OMSI District redevelopment as a generationally important project that, along with Broadway Corridor, New Albina, Rose Quarter, and Lloyd District, position Portland Central City to not just thrive, but demonstrate again that Portland is a global leader in urban livability, sustainable urban development, and shared economic opportunity.
So yeah, it's going to be big, and it will probably take about 10 years from now to finish. The plans include 1,200 units of new housing, with about 20% being reserved for lower income folks. There will also be a center for science, learning, and climate action, and a new park along the waterfront, and a center for tribal nations, and a whole lot more. Among those talking to the city councilors today, the president and CEO of OMSI.
This project has the great opportunity to also create a tremendous number of jobs during construction and in full operation for the OMSI district, in addition to tax revenue for the city of Portland. And ultimately, with our projections, it will generate more than $1 billion in private investment over the next 10 to 20 years in Portland. It is important because it helps to guarantee the growth and sustainability of our city, and really important because it also helps to sustain OMSI and the critical mission-based work that we do throughout Portland and the state, and the financial sustainability and economic prosperity of our partners.
Okay, $1 billion in private investment? That is pretty impressive. Part of the work, as I mentioned, will include a waterfront park along the banks of the Willamette, which, if you've been through there recently, it's not the most beautiful place in the world. Here's the development manager for Prosper Portland.
OMSI really aims to have a waterfront education park. They've got a mile-long waterfront, what they want to really re-envision with kind of 3 different reaches. The first reach is dedicated to the ecological restoration, and it's an opportunity also to test the feasibility of a mitigation bank that the city has been working on for quite some time as well, so it's another great partnership. The middle reach is dedicated to education and access to the water, bringing those classroom opportunities outside, and further expanding some of that education. And then the third reach, or the southern reach, is in Urban Plaza, and it's sits up high on the campus, beautiful views of the west side, and is where OMSI imagines holding its community events, its galas, etc., that will be also accessible to the public.
So a lot of plans to change the way the riverfront looks right now, which sounds wonderful. I run through there all the time. It's really not that spectacular. Here's another graphic to help you get an idea of how much things could change there. Everything with an X on it is in the area, but it's outside the plan of what they're going to be doing. It's your screen on the right you want to be looking at. So the PCC Climb Center and the Portland Opera, those are not going to change under the current plan, but everything else could. And we could see many new buildings there. Here's the executive director for Prosper Portland to explain.
Okay, so you see here just a snapshot of those glass containers, what can be built. So you'll see that there are heights that are set. There's an orientation, but it's pretty flexible. So questions around the kinds of things that can be built can change over time. But this is what Design Commission approved. And as you'll see, the OMSI portion, they could build between 600 and 2.5 million gross square feet. So we're talking about quite a bit of development capacity. And with and across the entire OMSI district, you're talking about between 2 and 4.4 million square feet.
So, yeah, going to be substantial. They included some artist renderings of what the finished project could look like. Busy streets with people and shops and towers for people to live in. Here's another view with an evening perspective added in. And while it's not as interesting to look at, the plan also calls for a new water avenue, which would include new sewer lines and electrical and water for all the new development that's going to happen there. There's another street there currently called Water Avenue. That's not going to go away. They apparently just wanted to add another one to handle the extra traffic. And this is probably the most spectacular piece that I've seen of this. This rendering is for the Center for Tribal Nations. It looks like it'll be 2 buildings right behind OMSI. Here's the executive director of the Northwest Native Chamber telling City Council about it.
The Center for Tribal Nations is the first of its kind, Native-led urban development that establishes a Native presence on the Willamette River, while creating space for a new era of indigenous expressions of excellence. For thousands of years, Native people came together in this place, forging intertribal bonds and building community through trade and cultural gatherings. The Center for Tribal Nations reclaims that crucial connection to the river, celebrating the Native cultures and values that have endured through centuries of colonization and displacement.
The one big issue for the entire project, parking. OMSI has 2 parking lots there now. I drew those nice red arrows so that they're easy to spot for you, but those are both areas where new buildings could and likely will go up. So where would people park? The experts say, yeah, that's a problem we still need to solve. But I got to say, I think it's a fascinating project overall and a fun look to the future that many people are going to benefit from. Whether you live in Portland or not, doesn't matter. In the end, the City Council unanimously did approve spending that $15 million to get the project going. So, what do you think about all this? What about the plan for the OMSI property? Let us know, will you? Send us an email. The address is thestory@kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail, 503-226-5090.